Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a great rack. I've got a blank, and the rest of the rack looks like it's close to a bingo. I've got Foveate, and I'm inclined to play that. I can get the score maximised, and the V is not a particularly helpful tile. So Foveate for 76. And I draw the second blank, which is fantastic. I may have a little more difficulty finding a bingo here, except I don't, because I can see execute. That may not play. Well, it does at the moment, underneath the T of Foveate, playing in row I. So, a super hot start to this game. Foveate takes a D for sure, and I think it may take an S, but I'm not sure about that. Wade takes an E, so I've got execute in column 11. That places the E in the middle of row A. So, do I have a better placement or a better word? My row I spot has gone. The V takes nothing underneath it. I can play execute in row F, getting the X tripled. But that's doing the same thing in the sense that it places an E in the middle of a triple word square row. So, is there another bingo? What about the F or the O? The F doesn't look too great, and the O looks even worse. So I am going to go with execute, and I'm going to place it in the spot which scores the most, which I think has got to be column 11, since there is no real X, it's a blank, so the X doesn't get tripled in a good way. So execute for 75. Wow, that's not bad either. I could have a third bingo here. It may depend on the floaters. I don't think there's a 7 with this rack. I've got gear case through the C. That may have an anagram. What else do I have? Do I have anything with the F? Not that I can see. I've got the AGE ending and the S plural. So hopefully my opponent will be drawn to row A and leave the C alone. And he is. Fantastic. And that's not a particularly high score, just 24 points. Now, is there really no 7 with this rack? Pretty bingo-y tiles. Well, not that I can see. Now, I was wondering about an anagram of gear case. Acreages, well, that doesn't play, so that makes my job easier. Gear case for 74. And I draw another pretty good rack. I can't immediately see a 7 with this rack, but there could be one. I've got the ABLE ending, and I've also got the ED ending. So nothing has sprung to mind. I've got a good lead. I'm 175 points in front, which is fantastic. So let me have a look at the floaters. I've got the F of Foveate. Can't see anything with that, although I do have fold as a component part. And leaf. So what about the O? I think ballooned is double L, but I'm going to check. I'm sure it is. Yep, that looks really bad. So what about the S and E of gear case? Can't see anything with the S. Okay, opponent provides no new floaters, so this could be the end of my run. And I'm not seeing anything through the E. A few, well, there's the T available for a big overlap. My B can go in front of double A. Can't see anything there. Can't see anything with the V. What about WE? No, double A, very unlikely. IT. So I've got the buy and die prefix. Not seeing anything there. And DE. Well, I could be missing something, but I'm not seeing a bingo here, which is a shame. This rack looks really close to one. So the run is over. What can I play? I guess I'm looking to play off the B and the O. So I could play bot, bit and ode. Rack leave of Andal, quite nice. Yeah, I think I am having to give up on finding a 7-letter bingo here. I'm just not seeing it. I can't see any extension from panel to the triple. What about a play in column 14 through this E? Well, I have albedo. Might be worth doing. Let me have a look at the score. 32 points. I think that's significantly more than bot, and I don't think Andal is a fabulous 5-letter rack leave. It's nowhere near in the league of a rack leave like EIRST. 18 points for bot. So I'm getting 14 more points. It's not a hugely dangerous spot at the top right, especially when I'm as far ahead as I am. I think I'm just going to try and not crank up the scoring because I've been scoring very well, but just keep it going. And 32 points is pretty good. Well, that's another good rack. Just wondering about 4 lean. Oh wow, opponent has the X. So he scored as well as he could do in that spot. This is a pretty good 7-letter set. Do I have anything through the F? Lone free isn't good. What about 4 lean? I don't think this is good, but I am going to check it. No, it's not. So I'm not seeing anything there. I've got no scoring tiles. So what to do? Just looking to see if I've got a play in column 13. So a play beginning with A or O. Well, an A because I want the O to go next to Da. Not seeing anything. I'm looking around at the scoring tiles on the board. And I'm slightly Val heavy, so I'm looking for a play of something like Ole. Well, I could play Lote here. And in contrast to my last move, this provides no scoring opportunities at all for my opponent. The rack leave is good. The downside is the score just 15 points, and I'm only 100 points in the lead. So despite my great start, the game is not in the bag. So Lote for 15. Not good. For the first time I've drawn badly. Picking up F and V, which are one of the worst pairs in terms of synergy. However, as it stands, I can play Fovea in column 5, and that stays available. Well, I've also got Forgave in that spot, and I think that's better, because Fovea takes a ton of hooks. And the rack leave wasn't great. So I have Forgave for 28, which gets the scoring back on track. Let me just put this back momentarily. I have the over prefix. So over Fang I don't think is good. Do I have a double-double? One of the troubles with getting off to a really good start is that you can become slightly tilty, as in happy tilty rather than bad tilty. So you can be slightly careless with your plays. Like that. So Forgave for 28. More horror. Really, really bad. And the remaining tiles pretty bingo-y. Forgave has taken out the bingo lane in row F. But it's provided quite a few floaters. And certainly A, G and E are useful ones. And my opponent bingos 63 points. He's 55 points behind. Now, what can I do here? I don't have any hooks for re-invite, but this E is useful. I could play Mung for 18 points. I can play that further along. Mung for 22, and that interrupts using the V to access the triple word square. It means it just has to be a 3-letter play rather than a longer one. Mung, I think, takes... Well, it does take an O. It may have other floaters, possibly an O... Sorry, possibly an A and an S. Not sure about those. But can I do better than Mung? There are a few floating vowels around. Vum would leave 5 consonants, so that's not a sensible option. I'm going with Mung. Still not good, and that means my opponent could well have a bingo on his rack, and there are bingo lanes. Look at row B, look at column 14, and column 13, and row N, so I can't shut the board down. Reinvite takes a P in front, and there's one out there. I think it takes a P in front. It may not do. I'll consider that when I have it. But look at this. No A's or E's on my rack, and I've got the UW combination. And I'm looking around, and I'm not seeing anywhere great for my W. I may need to leave that on my rack and use the M for score, and to get rid of the U. I've got the IUM ending. Just back, well, last night from a fantastic weekend, the first UK Tablet National Scrabble Championship. Held in London, 28 games in 2 days, and we didn't start until 11 o'clock on the first day, and we finished at 6 o'clock on the second day. So absolutely fabulous format for people who love Scrabble and like to play a lot of games. And really excellent playing conditions. No tile bags rattling at all, because there aren't any. Now, 22 points for my opponent. He's played off some bingo-y tiles. He's slowing down, which is good. But I'm only 1 bingo in front, and I'm going to struggle to score with this rack. There's still 1 D to come, which can go on the end of execute. So, 10 minutes on my clock. I've got twirl on my rack. I can't see anywhere for that. Row E, also a bingo lane. Well, there is somewhere for twirl, and I'm inclined to play it here, because I don't think this is particularly dangerous. I'm taking out the bingo lane in column 14. I'm taking out the 7-letter lane in column 13. Column 15 is not massively dangerous, apart from a word like lizard, but there's no A. And I'm turning over tiles, which is good, since I'm trying to cling on to a lead which has some vulnerability. So 12 for 14. Great! Look at that. That's a nice looking rack. I'm not saying great because there's a bingo there, but it's just a much better rack than the ones I've been looking at in the last few goes. Remaining tiles still have some bingo potential, but less so than before. Just one E to come. Anyway, one knock-on effect of the weekend's activities is that I was not able to record my regular videos, hence this is going to be a weeknight video. Now, I could play Luz, 22 points, leaving a very good 5-letter set. And there is that attractive bingo lane in row B, albeit not one which can take a bingo ending in S. Is there somewhere hot for the Z that I've overlooked? I don't think there is, and this stops my opponent playing in this spot, and it stops him scoring in column 15, and it stops him creating a new floater at the bottom right. So I like this. I'm going with it. Okay. I draw the Q. I do have an I, so I've got Chi in row E and also in row B. Hopefully one of those will remain available. Onto an A, I would have Korma, so I have that in row K. I probably won't play that with a U still to come. And playing Chi would leave still a very good 5-letter rack leave. So there still is bingo potential in this game. Have I exhausted the spots for Chi? Well, there's Chi and it above the T of tarot. None of these spots I've mentioned score particularly well. Great. Opponent has not created a new bingo. Bingo lane. He has created quite a nice 4-letter lane, but I don't think that bothers me. 5 tiles left, so I'm not going to play Korma. That would empty the bag. Where should I play Chi? I think I'll play it here, because if my opponent bingos, I'd rather he bingoed in row B than row E, because I think row B would provide better scoring spots for me. So Chi for 14. Is there really no better spot? No, not that I can see. Okay, so do I have anything here? I think Scromes may be good, but there's nowhere for it. Yeah, Scromes is good. Nowhere for that at the moment. 3 tiles in the bag. My opponent possibly could open a bingo lane. He probably... Well, I was going to say he probably shouldn't, but actually this game is not beyond him. He doesn't open a bingo lane. I can see what he has emptied the bag, so I can see what he's got. He does not have a bingo. So, 7 minutes on my clock. I have Scromes. I have nowhere for it. Are there any floaters I need to consider? Well, I think there's the G of forgave. I can't see anything with that. And that is about it. So, what to do here? I've got poses in column 8. 28 points. Leaving Klem. So, what I could do is play cream. And then I've got the option of playing SOS and Scream. And also poses in column 8, either of which is going to win. And this C is not providing anything massive for my opponent. So I'm going with this. Probably not the best outplay sequence, but it definitely does the job. So poses scores the most. Is there anywhere else for me to go out? Apart from the Scream spot? I don't think so. I think poses is fairly well disguised. I can't immediately see an opponent play which is likely to be played and which would obstruct it. He does have an E for going after the P and an I, but I think he'll be looking to get rid of his J. Okay, great. Just 20 points for my opponent. Poses for 28, and that is the end of the game. Okay, Friendly Guy has gone, and the final score, 337 to my opponent, 431 to me, a winning margin of 94 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first, and I had foviate, which was a great start. Opponent doesn't have a bingo, plays Wade. I then have execute, and wow, that was the only playable bingo. I'm surprised. Opponent now does have a bingo, doesn't play any of them, plays panel. And I have gear case, and again, that's the only one. Wow, opponent has Banshee for 102 and gear cases. Plays Sahib. Now, did I miss one? No, I didn't. And I played Albedo for 32, and I had an element of regret afterwards, but that was partly because my opponent scored so well from it. But he happened to score with the single solitary tile, which could do the most damage. And looking at the score in Ratleaf, I don't think that's a bad play. Opponent does play Chi, or Zai, however you pronounce it. Kai, perhaps. Great, I didn't miss a bingo here. I play Lote for 15. Yeah, I think that's fine. No bingo for my opponent. He plays Hode. And I have Forgave for 28. Nice bingo by my opponent. Just the two to choose from. And I play Mung for 22, which looks fine. No bingo there for my opponent, but it's a pretty bingo-y set of tiles. He plays Tarot. And I played Twirl, which doesn't feature. I didn't like Vum because it created a new bingo lane, a new floater. And none of these scores or Ratleaves are great. So although Twirl is slightly underneath the score of the lowest one here, it's not massively so. And it is turning over tiles, which is good when you're ahead. Opponent's rack plays Kin. And I play Luz for 22, which I like. That's a good 5-letter Ratleaf. Opponent plays Doubt. And now, yeah, 15 for Chi is all that's available. Opponent plays Noi. And I have Scrooms. No home for it. Or is there? There isn't. Poses, that was my outplay, and I played Cream first to leave it available. Opponent plays Jun, and then Poses remains available. So, cracking game, absolutely fantastic start with 3 back-to-back bingos. That happens pretty rarely. Only about 1 game in 7 begins with a bingo, so to begin with 3 consecutive bingos, a pretty rare event, and it put me strongly in the driving seat for the rest of the game. But my opponent, through some high-scoring plays, did remain within reach until right before the end. So pretty exciting stuff. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time.